Hey everybody, welcome back to Sorare. I spent a couple hours last night building a gallery for one of my subscribers, and I kind of wanted to go through it for him, but also go through it for those of you who are thinking about subscribing, and those of you who are already subscribed but aren't using the most updated version of our gallery organizer. It's a great tool. It's a really easy way to build lineups with my projections. So we're going to jump into that. I'm just going to use his gallery for reference, and I'll show you some of the tools that make it really easy to build great lineups. We've got a lot of wins lately from our group. It's a small group, but we're winning a lot. Got a lot of season left, and prices are getting cheap, so this is a great time to jump in. So shout out to my guy JKW in Sorare circles. He's known as iPrep Promo. You've probably seen him on the leaderboards, but you'll see him more at the top here once he gets organized and starts to use all this good data we've got here at Sorare. So these are going to auto-populate, but as you can see, they're kind of all over the place, depending on who's pitching, who's not pitching. You can do a quick sort. You can just select everything in the sheet, data sort range, advanced, and then obviously you want to keep them separated by their scarcity. So I just go column and limited, rare. Just keep them separated. So that's column A. Then you need another column is going to be your total, and that's column F. And you want F, Z to A. And when you sort that, it puts everything in order for you. Puts your highest projections at the top, basically. So you can easily see what you have when you're making your lineups. So I'm going to jump into iPrep Promos, Gallery Organizer, and just kind of give you an idea what it's going to look like. So your Gallery Organizer always going to have this instruction page. This is just what pulls the data from my main sheet into your Gallery Organizer. I will set this up for you. You don't have to do anything with this sheet once I get it set up for you. I have his listed rare, then limited. Sort his normally. I don't know if he wants the macros or not, so we'll just do it the old-fashioned way. I go on the Z to A, so he puts the rare, then the limited. This is alphabetical, and then we'll do our total, which is going to be F, and of course we want the big numbers at the top, so Z to A. And now we're organized by value here. So let's build him a limited champ team. So for limited champ, Sean Manaea has the best matchup this week, looks like. He's got a 13.5% limited card of Sean Manaea in season. So we're going to build a champ. Obviously, you can use one classic. Everything else has to be in season. But his gallery has a lot of really good in-season cards. So we're going to be able to build a pretty nice lineup here. And then I like to just type where I'm putting these in my used column. So I'm going to go with Manaea with the 27.9. Really an interesting play here with all the good pitchers he has that Manaea would come out on top. Why would that be? Well, if you look at our game week factors, the Mets are in Seattle. Seattle is a great matchup for any starting pitcher. Team strikes out a ton. They're not hitting all that well, although they've been a little better recently. Park factor really favors pitching. 27% boost to the projection for Manaea this week, which is enormous. Any Mets pitcher in Seattle would be a great start this weekend. So we're going to go with him. For relief pitcher, Class A has obviously been the class of the league for relief pitchers this year. It's a weird weekend for pitching and relief pitching in general. The Guardians have a 4-game weekend with a doubleheader, so Class A could conceivably get in 3 of those games. I don't know how realistic that is. Generally, I like to go one less than the number of games in the game week for my max projection for any relief pitcher. But with Cleveland having the 4 games, I think Class A easily can get in 2 of them. I think he's a great play this week. We're going to use him as your champ pitcher. And then we've got to build from here. Ramirez, obviously the 4 games. I think there's a chance he starts all of them. Usually guys don't play both ends of a back-to-back in a doubleheader, but I think he might be one of those guys that does. And even if he doesn't, he's so good. Even with 3 games, he's going to be one of your top plays, so he's definitely in there. This is going to be your corner infielder. You've got Aaron Judge. You're going to play Aaron Judge. He's going to be your outfielder here, and then Ellie De La Cruz has been red hot. He's your middle infield. Shohei is going to be your extra hitter, and Juan Soto is going to be your flex. So that's a very strong lineup, if you ask me. Obviously, Manaea has been up and down throughout his career, but this is such a good matchup. You're going to want him here. Relief pitcher, I don't think you can do better than Class A. And then the hitters, I mean, what a murderer's row. Ramirez with possibly an extra game, and then you've got Judge, De La Cruz, Ohtani, and Soto. Strong lineup here. Strong lineup. This is definitely a contender for limited champ. That's where I would go here. Try to win that 500 bucks. A, Z to A, and G, Z to A. All right. Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. What happened? We had a Guerrero that I didn't see before. All right. Because I thought I had it sorted and I didn't. Guerrero was somewhere down at the bottom, and now he's in the picture. And so I would bump Soto out of your champ lineup. You can obviously use him somewhere else. But Guerrero has actually been so hot lately, he outpaces Soto this week. So I would throw Guerrero in the champ lineup instead of Soto. Ohtani stays, and then we'll use all these guys for future lineups here. Now, I don't play rare comps, so I need to check and see what they even offer for the mixed games. You've got, I've got the Bring It Home, so we'll be doing something for that as well. Just a little side note. I'll get some projections together with just that scoring system. That's real easy. We just change our formula to fit the system, and then it shows you what who the best options are there. Okay, so they have a rare All-Star and a rare Pro. So these are ones where you can mix. And I think some of these you can use. Can you use limiteds in? Yeah, you can use 3 limiteds in the All-Star. What I would do if I were you is I would play the All-Star, and I would use some of your really good remaining limited cards in that competition. 120 cards up for... and only 127 people registered right now. So I think these are winnable ones for you. AL and NL, probably not so much right now. We'll have to see what the platoon guys look like when we get closer to lock. And then you'll obviously be able to... Your question is going to be, do you want to try to use those good limited cards in a rare competition like the All-Star? Or do you want to try them in, say, the Bring It Home or the AL and the NL? Some of the easier competitions to win. So it's going to be up to you, obviously, to what your preference is, what your priority lineups would be, and then we can figure it out from there. I always go champ first just because of the cash aspect. And Bring It Home has some cash involved with it too. Not great payouts, honestly, on these, but you really can't, you can't win any cash here. You're just looking at more cards, and you already have good cards. So I would say we'll look at the Bring It Home when I get that done. Maybe you want to focus on AL, NL. For now, though, I think we can make you a rare All-Star lineup. So you would need 4 rares and 3 limiteds. I mean, you've got another Manaea. If you want to really lean into Manaea, you've got Logan Webb in a good spot here. All right, let's call this rare All-Star. All right, so I'm gonna go Quintana here. Great matchup. You can use that rare card. You got a good reliever here you can use in Yates. Hitting wise, I would definitely throw Edwards in there. I think he's a good play this week. You can use that Bohm. So there's your corner in your middle. And there's your 4. Let's fill in with some good extras here from your limited collection. Let's use some classics because you can in this competition. It's not a hindrance or anything. And we're going to use these in seasons to try to win you some rewards in AL and NL. So let's put your Matt Olson here as your extra hitter. Put your Seager as your flex. And then we need an outfielder. Soto, Schwarber, real similar projection. Your next closest classic for an outfielder is Jazz Chisholm. He's been pretty hot. Maybe you want to just try him. I mean, you got plenty to work with here. I see some really good players. Even guys further down. You got some stars. Here's your lineup. You've got Alec Bohm at the corner. You've got Xavier Edwards in the middle. You've got Soto in the outfield. You've got Matt Olson as your extra hitter, and then you've got Corey Seager as your flex. Nice lineup. All good players. And all projections over 30. So other than your 2 rares, and these guys are both capable. So we got you a rare in there. Let's go back to the limiteds. Let's see if we can build an AL. Okay, so Houston's in the AL. Ronel Blanco's been very good. Let's try him at starter. I like Griffin Jax. You've got a chance of a lot of relief appearances for Jax over the weekend, so I think he comes in as your AL reliever. Really good pitcher. Not always a closer, but he does get some saves, gets a lot of holds, a lot of strikeouts. Underrated. Better guy than you think. Okay, so Blanco, Griffin Jax. And we're going to go Devers as your corner, Volpe as your middle, Jazz Chisholm as your outfielder, Gunnar as your extra hitter, and Jordan as your flex. Blanco starting, Jax, relief pitcher, Devers, Volpe, Chisholm, Gunnar, Jordan. Very solid lineup. Well, let's make you some limited pro and limited all-star lineups. Use up more of this talent pool. You obviously want Schwarber in there. Well, let's start with the pitchers. So this is where I'd use Webb. Let's say pro first, then all-star. So Webb here. Your next reliever going to be Diaz. Great matchup for him. Schwarber's going to be your outfielder. Riley's going to be your corner. Ozuna's going to be your extra hitter. Profar is going to be your flex. Let's do this differently. Let's say comp. This is the competition. And then we'll just add another column. Let's insert another column to the right. And then we'll say position. So middle infield, corner infield. All right, so that's cleaned up. A little easier to see where you're putting them, which competitions you're putting them in. We're doing limited pros. Okay, so for your limited pros, we have everything except a middle infielder. And your top remaining middle infielder is going to be Bobby Witt. Despite only having 2 games over the weekend, Bobby Witt is Bobby Witt, and you're going to play him. He's good enough in 2 games to do what most guys can do in 3. He rates higher than almost all of these guys that have 3 games in just 2 games over the weekend, but that's how it shakes out. That's how good he's been. All right, so let's try limited all-star. Your limited pro squad here turned out to be Schwarber in the outfield, Austin Riley at corner, Bobby Witt in the middle, extra hitter Ozuna, and flex is Profar. We can build you a limited all-star as well. And start with Teo. He's going to be your outfielder. You've got another Profar, so you can use him as your extra hitter. You got another Profar. Well, we got to skip him because he's already in the lineup. Alec Boehm can be your corner. Corbin Carroll can be a flex for you or an outfielder, but you already have your outfielder, so he will be your flex. And then again, we need a middle. And this is where you're a little thin, but Yainer Diaz is right there with Witt, Josh Bell, a little ahead of Lindor even, so I'm going him. And normally catchers we don't go with, but Diaz has been hitting all year, and he's been playing every day. If we look at his probables grid, I can show you what I'm talking about. This guy just never comes out. When he's not catching, he's DHing. All the way back to June. Let's see. When was the last time he came out? June 12th was the last time Yainer Diaz did not play. So he should be in there all weekend. Houston rarely rests anybody. Really easy one to predict. That's basically a little tutorial on how I build. And then basically when you're building, you're just bringing up your, you can either, pull your phone out, or you can open up this page in another window and just register those lineups. You can put them side by side. That's what I do. It makes it a little easier. Figure out who's going where. But, I'd wait as long as you can to build. I know some of you are in Europe and you got to build the night before because things get busy the next day before lock, depending on when it is. You can do that. The stats will keep updating, so you can always change things later. I like to get the lineups in. You can always delete them all and redo them if you have time, or you can just make a couple small changes here and there. One of the nice things they changed lately was if you take one guy out of a lineup, it doesn't just delete the whole lineup. It just leaves that spot blank, so then you can move guys around a little bit easier. NL lineup, Lindor obviously capable of huge games, had over 100 points in a week earlier this year. Freeman just coming back from all the weird stuff going on with his son, but he's obviously capable of huge games. Josh Bell, Josh Bell's been really hot, and this is part of our strategy is playing the hot bats. You get him in there as your extra hitter. Boehm's certainly capable of big weeks. Profar's been really good all year, so this is a lineup that can win. They may not be the top of the ratings, but still a lineup that can win. All right, hope it helped, and good luck this week to iPrep Promo, and all the rest of you too. If you need help and you're a subscriber, feel free to reach out. I can always jump into your sheet. You can share it with me, and I can edit things. We can change things to how you want it set up. Have a great finish to this week. I will update all my playing time estimates again tomorrow morning, closer to when we find out who's going to be pitching over the weekend. The more confirmations I get, the more accurate I am with the platoon playing time. As of right now, I did make a couple changes today. I just recolor coded everybody, and then sorted by the green ones. Just sort by green, and then it puts all my... These are all the guys who I would consider full-time players right now. that I expect to play all 3 games or 2 games or however many games their team has this weekend. You get a little out of whack with some of these 4-gamers because most of those guys aren't going to play both games of a doubleheader, but occasionally it does happen. Guys like Jose Ramirez, I would not be surprised if he played all 4. But somebody like Byron Buxton, who they're constantly worried about injuries, and he actually may be out anyway. He hasn't played the last couple games, but I would certainly not expect him to play 4 games. That will change when we get closer to the weekend. But anyway, that translates as a 3, and then everyone who isn't considered a full-time player, I just gave 1 game to right now until I do all the playing time estimates closer to lock. So when you look at your sheets or when you look at the main sheets hitting projections, you're going to see all green at the top. And these are all the guys who are everyday players. And so as I change these projections closer to lock for the platoon bats, you will see them pop in amongst the everyday players. And they will obviously populate on your gallery organizer sheets as well. So be looking out for that. If you want to sign up, I will drop my Patreon link in the show notes below, and feel free to contact me if you have any questions. Love a like on the video if you like what you're seeing. If you're a subscriber and you have questions, feel free to comment. You know how to get at me. We have a private Discord for members. Love talking to people on there. It's the easiest way for me to get you set up. So thanks for watching. Glad to have everybody aboard and hope to see some more of you soon.